Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Seer365 session. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Rufus Lunn, and I head up the ISVs and Partnerships program here at Seer365. I'm delighted to be joined today by one of our favorite ISV partners for Microsoft CE, George.
Good afternoon.
Tour.
Good afternoon from Vienna, the other side of the channel now. Thank you for having me on, Rufus. Thank you very much.
No, my pleasure. I mean, today's session is something that I'm personally very interested in as much as anything else. It's all around sales leadership. And I find that with sales leadership, sales teams are always asked to really push the limits, drive growth for businesses, and to maybe not just meet, but exceed expectations. But at the same time, they also need to plan something that's quite pragmatic. So, George, I guess from your perspective, who would benefit most from today's topic?
Well, all those who have to manage as a field sales team, which is, by the way, the most expensive sales approach that you can have. You set people in the car, let them drive to the customer, you spend fuel, everything, and that has to be done in the best way possible, not to spend much, too much on it.
Yeah, and I think, in-person interaction is just going to get, it's only getting more and more important over time, right?
Yes, it does. And I mean, we have seen COVID brought that down a bit, and the alternative channels, video chats and everything. But at the end of the day, it's the handshake, it's the personal interaction, and you can't replace that with just a video call. We see that again and again, and we onboard every day new customers who need that field sales teams being more effective than they are now.
So obviously some of the people that we work with, they are setting up new teams, or they might be expanding existing ones. I mean, what are kind of the key differences in terms of managing an existing sales team that maybe you've come into quite new, or starting a new sales team from scratch?
Well, basically it is the existing customer base that you have with an existing team. So there are established relationships between the salespeople and their clients, and most territories have grown historically and interwoven a bit, which is also sometimes giving extra kilometers or miles that you have to drive. While if that's a new approach, then you buy data, you buy business data, you say, like, okay, this is the bunch of customers I want to need. And then the next question is, how many salespeople do I need? Who of these customers should I even meet? So this is like, one is greenfield from zero, and there are others where you have already existing team, and one is fresh, where you start, okay, let's see, and where should I even start? And the other is like, okay, that is already established, and what should I do about that? And that brings us already to the first important topic, is classification. Everybody knows about A, B, C customers,
Yeah.
and all that thing, but how do you define that? So it depends completely on your business. If you work in FMCG, store size, turnover of last year, average purchase size, key figures that you bought from Dun & Bradstreet. And of course, then there's the thing, if you know the classifications and you set them all right, then how many do I have in A, how many do I have in B, and how many in C? And if you take all that together, how many times should I visit them? Because at the end of the day, it is, I go out there and I visit my customers. I visit customers A, customers B, customers C. A probably more frequent, B less, and C the least frequent. And then you spend time at the customer. For A customer, probably more time. For B less, and C the least. So you need to manage all that out.
I've been on enough sales teams where I think the desire would be to have 100% engagement with 100% of the customers, but you're saying that's maybe not quite realistic.
It is not. And I remember the first job I had. when I started in some years back. I remember I couldn't finish the job that I had to do for the boss. And
Hmm.
he said, George, where's your problem? The day has 24 hours. Add the night and you're 48. So that was his approach of stretching time, but you can't. And if you look at it, you have a work week, you have breaks, you have unavailability of your folks, the sick leaves, vacations, doctor visits, whatever. So uh, we say, for instance, that you have 80% availability throughout the year if it's like a healthy team. And then if you look at it, okay, how many visits can a person do per day? If you say, okay, you have 8 hours, you say, okay, 8 visits. If each visit lasts for 30 minutes, then you have some travel time left, 4 hours. Now, how big is my area? Where
Hmm.
do you go? If you look at the US distances or Australia, huge distances. So Germany, all around Munich or around London, quite short. But even in London, travel time of 5 miles can be 1 hour, depending at what time of the day you travel. So that is something that you need to consider. Now, how to plan that. And there are a lot of people who have sophisticated Excel sheets where they put everything inside, and but they're all rough estimates.
Mm.
They come to some numbers, what could be possible, what not. And what mostly they forget about that is natural objects like rivers or me here in Austria, mountains, right? From A to B, there could be a mountain in between. So that's not on a beeline 10 minutes drive. No, sir. You have to go up and down or around up the rivers, upstream the river, cross the bridge, come downstream again to meet that customer. So all different, everything has to be somehow managed to find out. So what all these Excel sheets give you and experience is an estimate, a rough estimate. And then
Hmm.
also the question is, how many sales reps do I need? Is my team big enough? Is it too large? They're always complaining we have too much to do, and that brings us actually to uh, planning versus feasibility, the team workload. Because
Yeah.
in German we say Papier ist geduldig. That means paper is patient. You can plan whatever you want,
Hmm.
but reality is always different in two ways in that. So you plan something, but then you need to match that with what is technically possible, right? Based
Yeah.
on times, routes that you have to travel, the kind of cars you use, and all that. And then, not to forget the human factor. Think about it Monday till Friday. Monday, hopefully full motivation if the weekend was not too exciting. And then till Wednesday, and then Thursday, weekend ahead on Friday. So all this come into the whole play of like what is possible, and we deal with humans here, not with robots that go on and visit customers. And
So we're
here's why, yeah,
no, I
go.
was going to say, so we're talking about a lot of factors then. So we're talking obviously kind of the importance of the customers, their actual locations in terms of how easy they are to reach from kind of a geographical standpoint, the
Exactly.
frequency of visits, but also kind of actually how can we factor in a little bit of, like you said, feasibility, the actual salespeople's own lives and how they can kind of build around that as well.
Yeah, sometimes I like to mention, like, sorry to call it the Outlook disease. On Outlook you can make an appointment at 12 noon in London and at 2 in the afternoon in Manchester. Reality is you will not be able to make it because of distance and traffic and everything, unless you're Barry Allen from The Flash and run there or have a helicopter, whatever. So if you just put it in the calendar and stack it up, that's not what can really work. So if you could please show the screen that I prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll bring that up now.
Okay. So let's have a look. Let's look at United Kingdom. And we look here at a sales team of 10 sales team members. Some of them are here, two of them are in Scotland, and then we have here around Wales and England a lot of folks, and you can already see now there's some overlaps in that, and we can come to that later. First of all of these dots here are customers. So if I click on one of these dots, I can see, okay, this is a company classified as a B customers. You see here I have a call interval of 60 days, call duration of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So let's have a look at another one here. Violet one, 60 days, 20 minutes. That one over here, 30 days, 45 minutes, an A client. So you see, different clients have different call intervals and different call durations. But what does that mean for my team? And I can run a quick analysis here. You see here my team members. I see here the field service hours that they're available during the week and the working hours. So why is that less? As we mentioned before, breaks in between, unavailability through whatever, like on a year overall, doctor visits and sicknesses and all that. Then they have, each of them has a number of customers. So if you look at Crystal Allen, she has 397 customers, and we have planned for her to visit at least 43, to make 43 customer calls per week with an average call duration with ABC classification of around 24 minutes. Now, if we look at that, you can see for each of my people in this team, there are different customer calls, different customer numbers, and all of that. And at the end, I can see here there's a workload of 208%, more than 200% for Crystal, for instance. How and why? Why is it 200%? I calculated everything so nicely. She should visit all these 397. So basically, the reality check kicks in. And you see that what is technically possible instead of the 43 customer calls, technically possible is only 21. Right?
Okay, so even though looking at just the a couple below her, everyone's got sort of broadly similar numbers. I mean, clearly Crystal's possibly one of the better salespeople on the team, but there's only 10 less for Douglas, and yet his workload is almost half of what Crystal needs to do.
Exactly, and that is something which you usually can't factor in. Travel times, travel distances. If you look at the territories, if you look again at the territories here, and they're all different, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at Crystal Allen, she has this quite huge territory, and Dennis has this, Douglas has this more compact one, right? Then we have the Scottish guys up here. This one is more compact. So it really means a lot. Do you have highways there? Do I have high roads there, like major roads there that I can use? Am I going on rural roads to visit my customers? So this is already a huge thing here that brings in like a workload. And if you see on average, it's 127. Okay, so a little bit overworked, but Crystal will heavily disagree and say like, hey, listen, I work myself off here. I can't make ends meet. What's going on? Now, if you have such a situation, this is usually not good for the team spirit. Why? Why is it not good for the team spirit? Because if I can't ever reach my goals, if I can ever manage that, then I do just whatever I can. So I give up on being like assertive and say like, I can't do it, because double workload, you can't. So team spirit goes down. You do only what you can do. And then you visit those customers where you think, yeah, I know I can make a deal there. I go to the same again and again, but I will not hit those where I think I could even eventually make a deal, because anyway, I have too much on the plate. I can't. So what can you do about that now? So as we talked in the beginning, you have call frequencies, you have visit duration. So you could play around with these numbers and say, okay, the A customers are not every 45 days, every 30 days, but longer. Instead of 30 days, I visit them every 40 days. So then already that workload goes down, because you don't have to visit so many customers. You can play around with all these numbers. That's one way to do it. If you say, I do not want to change the relationship between sales and my customers. Or you say like, okay, I skip the C customers. I don't visit them at all and just have AB. So there are ways that you can manage that right now. But first of all, you need to see these numbers. And if you don't see them, how can you act them?
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, speaking from the perspective of, a potential end user, you can very easily see how the expectation upon Crystal might seem, equal to the rest of the team on first glance, but actually
definitely,
she's
yeah,
very quickly going to feel overworked. She's not going to be able to deliver, and that's potentially one of your best salespeople at risk there.
could be, definitely could be, right? And she really wants to go into it, but she can't. So
Sure.
one thing you can do is now, if you look again at the map, you can see that there's a lot of overlap, which makes nonsense travels, right? So what we can do here is we simply can say, in this case, for this tool, please optimize that, make a redistribution that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Start an optimization here and ask this tool now to optimize that. And if you look at the map now, you see I have nice and sharp boundaries. Can even show it a little bit better. See, like you see the names, Crystal Allen, nicely, that's her territory. Collins, Sullivan, Baker, they're all nicely and sharp separated. So,
Yeah.
but how did that affect my team? And you see that the workload has gone down. Look, for Crystal Allen, it has gone down to around 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case now, she should be able actually to do her workload approximately. But still, some now, Dennis Baker has 121. Douglas Collis has 122%, right? So we have redistributed the workload, but it still doesn't work for them. It still is like, hey, it's too much. And if you think about it, even if I even them out, everyone on 100%, let's see, I can choose here between lowest travel time, you see there's more discrepancy, or complete balanced workout. Everyone approximately the same,
Mm-hmm.
around 110%.
It's still over 100 across the board, though, isn't it? So none of the sales team are going to be able to deliver.
First of all, that they still are not too happy. And the second thing is, do you have room for new customers?
Mm.
You don't. You don't have room for new customers. So question is what to do about that. So if your workload is more than 100% and the whole team has to shoulder all of that, you need new people. You need to hire more staff or get rid of customers. And there is this old habit of, keep it in, maybe we visit it later. Classify your customers and then say, okay, make the hard cut and those not. If they don't bring any money for the last 3 years and you look at that, take them out. And the second approach is you can hire more people. So
Mm.
with the proper tool, you can do that too. You can say, please give me an estimate, suggest numbers of people that I could hire, and I can start an optimization again here, and then I will get an answer to say like 1, 2, 3 more hires and how it will affect my numbers. Let's see that. And let's have a look at the details. If I have one new hire, I look at that. Complete balanced workout, I am already under 100%. So everybody could or should be happy. But again, I don't have room for new customers, new leads, some high potentials. And what happens in your business can be customers can call in and say, hey, could you come over? I have a problem here. If you did not factor that in, suddenly your workload goes up, you miss out on others. So you could say like, okay, what if I hire 2 people, 2 new hires? What's happening here? And look, now I'm in a sweet spot of around a little bit less than 90%. So you have 10% gap to take care of any extra thing that could come from your customers or anything that spontaneously needs to be done or new leads. Let's go to what if there are 3 new hires and then you get 80%. Well, with 80%, now you have really muscle play to get more stuff in. You can grow if you want, but of course it's an investment to have the 3 people. Now my question is, where should these 3 people be located?
Hmm.
Where would I put the 3 people? I mean, you saw the nice British island where to put them. And you get even that information if you have a good tool for that. So you see here all the rectangles, the normal rectangles here, they show where the salespeople are at home. In that
Hmm.
case, that's Vincent Sanders. You can all this information here, how many users, how many customers he has. But here I see a new one, and you see here this diamond shaped thing,
Hmm.
and it shows that this is one of the new hires. And this tool, in that case, it's portal territory optimization, shows you, okay, you should find with human resources a person, a sales rep that lives in that area. If that person lives in that area, then you have a chance that he or she can manage a territory well. Let's look, are there some more? Yes, we have one over here in this area. This is
Excellent.
the
Yeah.
third of them. So you know where you have to hire them. And then let's look, where's the third one? Hey, look, we got one in Scotland. So here in this area.
So it's not just around sales planning and planning out your team and how they should spend their time. It's also actually, I mean, this would enable you to do targeted HR, targeted recruitment campaigns, all sorts of things.
Exactly, all sorts of things. And what you can also do with a good tool is that you can make scenarios.
Hmm.
What happens, let's say Crystal Allen says, you know what, I have small children at home. I want not to work on Friday and Monday afternoons. And you can play that scenario and see what happens and see if she has to hand off some customers or how that scenario would work. You can play all kind of scenarios. What happen if, and try that out before you make any changes. Because now, if you want to apply these changes, you have to discuss with the sales team about the changes. So if I look here at the application and say like, how does that look like for Crystal Allen? Then she can see like, okay, I've handed off all the red ones, I got green ones, and that's my territory. Anyway, she had way too much, but now she can fulfill her targets and she's in her sweet spot to do that.
Yeah.
Same, let's have a look at Dennis Baker, and you see the gray ones stay as they are, the green ones are new ones, and he hands off the red ones because now his territory is nicely compact and he can really do what he has to do. Like, and that's the thing, sales.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive, and I can see how this kind of what if capability and mass kind of territory tracking, it's just near impossible to do on a spreadsheet, right? You'd need hugely
You,
complex.
exactly, you can't. And even if you do, you cannot really factor all things that happen in. I mean, if you just look at it, you have here the highways, the M6, right, the
Yeah.
M54, and then all these minor roads and the travel limits. And you should also think about traffic times, where can you go, and all these things have to be in. So this is what you can use this tool for. And it, by the way, works nicely with Dynamics, just to mention that. It works nice with Dynamics CRM and other CRM systems who would like to add that on, but Dynamics CRM is really a sweet spot here.
Excellent. No, thank you, George. That was really, really good. I guess we've got a couple of minutes left. Obviously, anyone, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to put them in the chat. Or George, I believe they can get in touch with you at georgeauscher@portatour.com. I guess just to kind of close, we've got 5 minutes left. Are there any sort of success stories or any recent examples of working with clients that you wanted to share?
Yes, and not all of them are like success stories. Because at the end of the day, if you're a planner and you thought everything through, and then with 3 mouse clicks, you suddenly see like you were far off from what you actually thought it has been, right?
Mm-hmm.
That can be not a good experience. But those who really say like, I want to redefine my sales team. And one example, if you'd like to drink coffee and you like Italian coffee, Segafredo in Germany, quite famous Italian brand,
Yeah.
they use our route planning and the territory optimization just for any eventually that happens around the team for all of Germany, and they're all nicely set, and they just use it to get the most out of it. And they play a lot of scenarios. Let's simple thing. One of the sellers goes for 2 weeks, or let's say for 3 weeks on vacation, and somebody has to take care of his territory. So they can redistribute his territory and then give it back to him, but they know exactly who should go there without just Excel list and okay, the first, third, second, third. And no, you know exactly who should take over to cater these customers.
Excellent. Yeah, no, I can see how it's a really, really powerful tool, and we're delighted to have you guys on the Seer365 network as well. Again, if anyone is interested in finding out a little bit more about Portator, please do get in touch at the email below, or reach out to anyone at Seer365, and we'll be happy to connect you there. I think that's all for today. I do think we are running out of time, but George, again, thank you for your time today. It's been really, really insightful and a fantastically powerful tool.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the chance to present this tool. It's really well done, and our customers are really happy with it.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you all, and have a great rest of the day. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.